Да.
Что у вас там горит?
Взрыв на главном корпусе, третий, четвертый, между третьим и четвертым.
А там люди есть?
Да. Поднимай наш состав.
One of the atomic reactors at the Chernobyl atomic power plant near the city of Kiev was damaged, and there is speculation in Moscow that people were injured and may have died.
Pripyat, 1986. A town built on the promise of progress. It was home to almost 50,000 people, scientists, engineers, and their families living in a world fueled by optimism and pride in Soviet achievement.
An official announcement from the Council of Ministers. There has been an accident at the Chernobyl atomic power station. One of the atomic reactors was damaged.
At its heart stood the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, a towering symbol of technological advancement and national pride. But beneath the surface of this utopia lay cracks in the foundation, both figurative and literal, that would soon bring it all crashing down. The disaster that would change the course of history began with a test. Operators at reactor number 4 were tasked with simulating a power outage to ensure the plant's cooling systems could continue to function. It was a routine procedure, but a series of missteps would turn routine into ruin. The RBMK reactor had a dangerous flaw. Its design allowed it to become unstable at low power. Despite this, the safety test went ahead, with crucial protocols ignored to meet tight deadlines. At 1:23 a.m., the unimaginable happened.
Inside the core can no longer be held back. At long last we have arrived. 1:23:45, explosion. In the instant the lid is thrown off the reactor, oxygen rushes in. It combines with hydrogen and superheated graphite. The chain of disaster is now complete.
A power surge caused reactor number 4 to explode, releasing radioactive material equivalent to 500 Hiroshima bombs into the atmosphere. In seconds, the course of thousands of lives and history itself was irrevocably altered.
Да.
Что у вас там горит?
Взрыв на главном корпусе, третий, четвертый, между третьим и четвертым.
А там люди есть?
Да. Поднимай наш состав.
Леонид Алексеевич.
Да.
Алло, Припять, 3 и 4 блок горит крыша в результате аварии взрыва.
Уверен, давай. Так уже подтвердили?
Не подтвердили, авария там произошла у них. Это диспетчер Припяти сказала.
First responders arrived within minutes, but they were woefully unprepared. Without proper protective gear or knowledge of the invisible danger, they walked directly into the jaws of death.
Firefighter who died in the line of duty Sunday night. His wife Janet spoke about him today for the first time since his death.
My husband was called in the middle of the night. He didn't come back for days. When I finally saw him, he was unrecognizable. His body covered in burns, his hair gone. He died within weeks.
I thought he was very brave for wanting to do it because I don't think you know what I mean? I think about how if it was me, I don't think I could do it, but of course I think every one of them are brave for wanting to do it. It's been phenomenal. I mean, it's been huge. I never imagined anything this big. It was hard at home because he was always, gone.
But he was dedicated and loved being able to help people.
Gave him the sense of accomplishment that he fixed them.
She said she'll miss the simple things like curling up next to him and watching a movie. She said when they were dating, he talked about joining the fire department.
He had expressed his want to do this. And although there was a big fear in me that this would happen.
Janet said her children, ages 1 and 3, are now starting to realize they've lost their dad, but she's working on making a scrapbook for them.
I'm gonna make whatever I get, photo album, just any memorabilia I can get. And at one point we'll sit down and we'll talk about it.
Radiation poisoning is a horrific and agonizing death. Victims suffer from nausea, vomiting, severe burns, and organ failure. Many of the firefighters and plant workers who responded that night succumbed to these effects within days. In Pripyat, just 3 kilometers from the reactor, life continued as normal. Residents saw the strange glow of the reactor fire, but were told nothing of the danger. Some even gathered on bridges to watch, unknowingly exposing themselves to lethal doses of radiation. I remember feeling dizzy that morning, my throat burning, but no one told us to leave. We didn't know. The Soviet government, fearing panic and international embarrassment, delayed evacuation for over 36 hours. By the time buses arrived, the damage had already been done. They were told to pack for just 3 days, leaving behind everything they owned. They never returned. The explosion didn't just affect Pripyat. Radiation spread across Europe, contaminating soil, water, and air. In Sweden, over 1,000 kilometers away, radiation detectors at a nuclear plant were triggered. Only then did the Soviet Union admit to the disaster. The delay in addressing the disaster cost lives, not just in Pripyat, but across the world. Livestock was slaughtered, crops destroyed, and entire regions rendered uninhabitable. In the months that followed, an army of workers known as liquidators was deployed to clean up the fallout. These brave men and women worked tirelessly, often without proper protection, to prevent further catastrophe. Their efforts were heroic, but the cost was staggering. Many liquidators would later die from radiation-related illnesses, their sacrifice largely unacknowledged.
Time to go. After 90 seconds, I will ring a bell. When you hear it, return immediately. Drop your shovels in the bin and proceed down the hallway for decontamination. Above all, while on the roof, throw your debris over the rail. Do not look over the rail. Is that clear? Very well.
Today, Chernobyl remains a chilling reminder of the dangers of human error and hubris. The exclusion zone is uninhabitable, yet nature has begun to reclaim the land. Wolves, deer, and birds thrive where humans cannot. But for the survivors, the scars remain. Chernobyl was not just a nuclear disaster, it was a deeply human tragedy, one that claimed lives, destroyed families, and reshaped the world's understanding of nuclear power. Over 37 years later, the lessons of Chernobyl remain as urgent as ever. We must honor those who suffered by ensuring such a disaster is never repeated. Dedicated to the victims of Chernobyl, may their sacrifice never be forgotten. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please share it to keep the memory alive. Let's ensure that the lessons of Chernobyl never fade into history. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below.